Hey guys, welcome back to part two of the room tour. Here it is 2023, so I'd figure I'd do a room tour of my collection. If you saw the earlier video, that was a little over 40 minutes. I didn't want to do everything in one shot because then it would be well over an hour. So I'd figure I'd separate it out. We're now in the second floor of my house where I have this second room where most of my video game collectibles and statues and a lot of my Lego stuff is at. But we'll start off here at the stairs where I pretty much put up a whole bunch of posters and frames and everything just to sort of set the mood before you go into the actual room. This is a Marvel Comics poster that was given to me as a gift. You'll see there some Transformers posters. Way down there is Street of Rage 4, which was one of my favorite video games when that came out. Legend of Zelda poster from Nintendo, from Club Nintendo. Right here, there's an awesome DC poster. This is by Jim Lee. This poster is huge. I got this at a comic book store years ago when the Hush storyline had just come out. That is an awesome poster to have. Up here, you'll see some more some Lego stuff. So down here, the only complete collection of minifigures that I have is The Simpsons. This is the first series, Series 1. And right there, I decided to put them all in a frame and display them on the wall. Down here, these are all Speed Champions from Lego. These are all 6-stud wide. And when they released the 8-stud wide cars, I decided to put the 6-stud wide in a display in a shadow box. I bought this off of Amazon and put the plates together and everything. I thought it came out nice. So you'll see all the cars there. Ford, mainly on the right, and on the left you got Ferrari, Chevy, and there's the McLaren. These are all 6-stud wide, and some random minifigs that I put in there that came with the sets. But I thought that came out nice. And then as you go here to the left before you even go in the room, there is a Billy bookshelf with some glass doors. This is all from IKEA. And I'll start you off down here at the bottom. We'll open these glass doors. And at the very bottom, you'll see some more Speed Champions. These are all 8-stud wide. The Jaguar set, the Nissan GTR, the awesome Audi Quattro rally car. Really cool. Here on the right, the Lego Technic Raptor with a little car there. Up here in this shelf in the middle, there's some empty space, which, as you know, if you're collecting anything, empty shelves are at a premium, so this is awesome to have. I do have some 8-stud wide, again, Speed Champions. These are the more recent ones that came out, the Ferrari and the Aston Martin, etc. As you move up here, this is my Lego Nintendo shelf. On the right here is the Lego Bowser ship, which is an awesome display piece. And with some additional pieces there, Namek, Baby Bowser. That Bowser ship is awesome if you're just looking for a display piece. Here's the Lego NES set. It's just so awesome to be able to build all these things and then have them out displayed, but it looks really cool. Here's the question block, which is technically Lego from Mario 64, at least according to them, even though there wasn't a question block in that game. But that was an awesome build, and it's got some hidden things where the block opens and there's different worlds from Mario 64. Some little sets from the Super Mario Lego, but I really do like the way this shelf came out. It's really cool to be able to have all these NES or video game related sets in the collection. Moving up here, we have the tumbler from the Dark Knight. This is the original Lego tumbler that came out years ago. I know they re-released a updated version, but I saw no need to get that updated one since I already had this one. And then right here on the left, you'll see the plaque that came with the tumbler and the minifigs. Some minifigs, the motorcycles are from The Batman. That's Selena Kyle and Batman. And in the center, you see that Batman and that Scarecrow came with this little tumbler. That little tumbler is really cool. It's an awesome build and it looks really nice. As I move up here, we have my Batman 1989 pretty much collection. You'll see there's the Batwing. It's mounted on one of the shelves, horizontal, like it was mounted on a wall. That looks really cool. Building these things is an experience. Once you get them all together and done, they look really nice. Down here you have the 1989 Batmobile in all its glory. Really cool to have these in the collection. And right here, you'll see the minifigs that came with both of these sets and the plaques. I sort of built a little platform there so that, you know, I could showcase what these sets specifically are for. Yeah, but that's my Batman shelf. Gotta have a Batman shelf, especially of a Lego. And then up there, just some 1/18 scale model cars that were given to me as gifts. I just sort of put them up there, you know, had a place to sort of show them off. And then down here, this is finally the room. This is the door to the collection room. So you'll see a poster to sort of give you a hint of what exactly this room entails, video games and toys. And without further ado, we'll open the door and go into here. And I decided to turn on all the lights for you guys that may be watching. This is with the lights off. I'll give you a bit of a pan. There's a Detolf on top of a Kallax there. A lot of these display cases are all from IKEA. Again, very similar to my first room. The LEDs are all from Amazon. You'll see there the awesome 1/10 scale Sentinel collection. Some comic books right below it for storage, and some action figures, video games. Also, you'll see a row of vinyls, amiibos, because, well, you know, you gotta be collecting amiibos at some point. Yeah, but let's turn on the lights and actually go into the room and show you what this sort of entails. Up here, very random, some Revoltech or Amazing Yamaguchi, rather, X-Men action figures. At one point, I was planning on getting a whole bunch of X-Men in those figures, but you know, they look great once you're posed, but to get them into those poses, these things fall apart pretty quickly. But once you get them in, they actually look pretty cool. You guys can see them up there. But those are, I think, the limit of where I will get. I think I'm happy with these three, and that will probably be it. On the shelf here, I added some LED lights. You'll see it's like a mixture of things, mainly Lego. This is a Detolf case again, and this is sitting atop a single Kallax unit right there. But if we open this right here, I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge Sega nerd, for one. So when Streets of Rage 4 was announced, I just went all out and got the limited run, you know, special super duper collection that came in this huge box with all these different Streets of Rage 4 boxes. You see the OG Sega Genesis, the European Sega Genesis, the Steelbook. It came with this little statue, the chicken or turkey, whatever that may be that you eat to get more energy. It came with a soundtrack. I came with this awesome metal cartridge. So I just wanted to display that out loud because I'd been waiting for so long to have a Streets of Rage 4, and we got one. So there we go. Down here we have the essentially what is the UCS Hulkbuster. This is not the new one. This is the older one that they released years back, and essentially I rebuilt it. There is a very well-known YouTuber, I believe his name's Ransom Fern. I take no credit for this. He's awesome. He or she is awesome. And they had this whole video on how to use parts from that UCS set and an additional Hulkbuster set to make what to me is a better looking Hulkbuster. And I kept some of the platform from that one and some extra minifigs that I got with some sets of Hulk. You see them there, but that is an awesome Hulkbuster right there. And moving on down, I believe I did earlier on when I started doing YouTube videos a sort of review on this Daily Bugle set. But this set's awesome. Obviously, I had to get this because being a huge fan of Spider-Man, comic books in general, you know, this thing has a ton of minifigs. You know, you see Spider-Ham back there. You see Doc Ock, Miles, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Spider-Man Peter Parker. Look at that, Starfire, if I remember correctly. Green Goblin, like all these little nods, and there's J. Jonah, the Sandman. You've got Blade fighting Carnage, Frank Castle, the Punisher. You've got Felicia, Mysterio, Spider Gwen. Although I don't believe that's her official name. There's some additional minifigs in the back, but I think with the lights, this really gets set off really nice. So that's what's in the detail with lights. And then down here is just vinyls that I've gotten from data discs, mainly of the different video games that I'm into. That was Ikaruga, Metal Slug soundtrack, Afterburner, so they've done a lot of good ones. Shenmue, Outrun. So it's a whole bunch that I have down there just for regular storage. Down here is pretty much my OG collection of video games. I have this older 50-inch plasma that I refuse to let go. It still works. It's a Panasonic P55 ST50. It served me well, so I use it for all my old school video games. Everything is connected to a older Sony receiver. It has a bunch of HDMI ports. I do have this little center channel because sometimes I watch Netflix in here. So, but we'll start off here from the right. We have this Sega Astro City, this little cabinet. I bought that specifically just to play Golden Axe Revenge of Death Adder. And those of you who are into video games know that that game hasn't really been released officially anywhere except on that, at least that I'm aware of. So yes, I bought that Astro City Mini just to play Golden Axe Revenge of Death Adder, which in the year of 2022, I mean, other than emulation, why isn't there an official way to play that game? Anyway, a 3DS XL, Xbox 360, and a Wii U with a little hard drive back there. You'll see the gamepad back there in my sub. The receiver. You'll see here my vinyl player. And you'll see this is what I'm currently playing whenever I get some time. I've been playing Resident Evil 4 on my GameCube with that Wavebird there. Moving on down here. Sega Saturn. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a huge Sega nerd. Had to have a Sega Saturn. This can play import with a cartridge in the back, so I have a couple of import games as well. And I have some wireless controllers that I can use with it. My OG PlayStation 3. It's going to be sad the day this thing dies because this thing can play PS1, PS2, and my PS3 games. I do use it regularly. It still works. It's great. I haven't had any issues with it. This is a launch unit, so I'm dreading the day that it goes. So there's that. Over here, what is undoubtedly one of my favorite systems of all time, the awesome Sega Dreamcast. And this is my launch unit that I bought in 1999. You just had to be there. Had all my money ready. Bought in Soul Calibur, Sonic Adventure. This is modded. I think it has DC HDMI. I think it goes by a different name now. I had to send that away to have it installed. If you do have the means, I would definitely recommend doing an HDMI mod because the Dreamcast just looks awesome. Right here, my Mega SG with a Mega SD cartridge from Terra Onion. The Mega SG I just had to get. I do, again, being a huge Sega fan, I had the whole Sega Genesis connected to a Sega CD, which had a 32X on the top. It's awesome, ridiculously awesome to have that, but I needed to save some space, and being that this can be connected via HDMI to the receiver, I decided to go for the Mega SG, and then also the Mega SD cartridge allows me to play my Sega CD games. I do have some a wireless controller for it. Coming on down here, we're almost at the end of the video game systems. This is the OG Xbox, still works. Awesome system. I almost consider that my Dreamcast 2, Super Nintendo, because if you're OG into old video games, you gotta have a Super Nintendo. My Nintendo 64, which funnily enough, I only have 4 games for Nintendo 64. It still works. And all the 4 games I have are wrestling games. But I'm not gonna apologize for that. Here's my GameCube. Love the GameCube. As you saw earlier, I am working through Resident Evil 4 with my Wavebird. And then right here, if you go up on the speakers, I have Spider-Man just hanging around. That's an older Marvel Legends. We have Figma, Metroid, Samus from Metroid Prime. Over here on the right speaker, we have again another Marvel Legends Spider-Man in a symbiote suit. Right here we have Sonic holding the controller that I use with my Mega SG. So that's the video game setup, guys. All of these systems are connected to their receiver, which is connected to the TV. That receiver is awesome. It's got a bunch of HDMI ports and also component, which is great for my use. That right there, that white thing is just my air purifier to help with the dust. And then, you know what? Let's start up here on the wall. More Lego stuff. General Grievous is the only figure I have from that Lego set. I thought it was the only one that looked nice, so I decided to put it up there. The Lego Goat Boat from Thor: Love and Thunder. Love the minifigs. I love the build. So surprisingly, I did like the movie. I didn't love it, but I did. I thought it was okay, so I decided to get that. Moving on, up here is my Ninja Turtles collection. This is a Besta cube that is mounted on the wall with the glass, and then it has a glass door. I have a couple of other figures I still need to unbox and put towards the bottom, but this is pretty much my turtle army, and essentially this does open. And back here you'll see different versions of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is the figure art. These are the NECA, I guess, cartoon, for lack of a better word. You'll see the movie Turtles from the first movie, and you'll see the Ultimates Super 7. And then right here, these are reissues of the original Turtles. I got these maybe about 10 years back. I think recently they've been reissuing this as well in the original packaging. But that's my little turtle army. And then down here in the third shelf, we have Metalhead, all by his lonesome. As I said, I do have a couple, I think about 6 figures that will go in here. I have Baxter Stockman, Slash, Mutagen Man that I need to unbox and sort of put here. But this is pretty much my little Ninja Turtles collection. When I was 10 years old, 11, when Turtles were all the rage, I was a turtle kid. And I actually did have a whole bunch of original turtle toys. But then I went through my dark periods, and yeah, they kind of got lost, sold, thrown out. Who knows? And so this is my way of reclaiming that. Before we go down, here's again some more Lego on the wall. This is the Lego Guardian of the Galaxy ship. I think I did a review on that. You see Captain America on his bike. That's from Lego. Here's older Back to the Future DeLorean with the Doc and Michael J. Fox there. The Tron set on the bikes. I built a little platform just to make it, give it a bit more of a display verticality there. So it's sitting there on a stand. This is right now on the wall, so it looks really cool. And then down here, it's just this thing that I used to sit on. I do have that arcade stick, the Qamba, Q4 RAF or something like that. I do use it on my Xbox and PS3. It's really cool if you like playing fighting games and all that. And then right here, this kind of turned out well for me. I have that Metroid Dread poster from Club Nintendo. And then over here, I have the first 4 figures, Samus. I believe this is based on Metroid Prime, from what I remember on the box. It does have light ups. There's a button in the back. It is fully plugged in. You guys can see the lights are now off, and now the lights are on. This thing is awesome. This is probably one of my prized statues in my collection, video game wise. It's really cool, and it kind of worked out. Really hoping first 4 figures sort of makes a Metroid Dread inspired statue for Samus. Anyway, moving on down. The cabinet here is an IKEA Mills bow. This is where I keep my Millennium Falcon. I recently added this. I bought some lights off of Amazon just to give it a bit of a more attraction type thing. And these open. This cabinet is awesome. It fits the Millennium Falcon in there, no problem. So I would highly recommend that if you have one of these and you're looking for a cabinet to put your Falcon in. This comes highly recommended. Again, it's a IKEA Mills bow, and it comes in different sizes. But there's the Falcon. I think I did a short review or video on this guy. Nothing much else to say. This is like once in a lifetime to the collection. It's just, again, surreal to me that I'm able to have stuff like this, but very grateful nonetheless. Here's the Luke fighting the Death Troopers from Mandalorian. That's Lego. Back there, you'll see a TIE fighter. I recently, again, while cleaning up my attic, found a bag full of Legos. That is one of the sets I found in there. I found that TIE fighter along with that little Darth Vader figure. Here's the Mandalorian and his ship. This was a microfighter set that my girlfriend graciously saw at the store, and I was like, hey, I think he would like this. So I ended up getting that as a gift. Down here, this is another set that I found. This is the speeder bikes, I believe from the Endor scene, and there's the Luke Skywalker that came with them. This is an older set. Again, this is something that I had in my attic that I decided to display. Here's the plaque for the Millennium Falcon along with the minifigs. You guys can see back there, and then there's one of the radar dishes that you can interchange with the Millennium Falcon. But this cabinet, guys, I would highly recommend it, even just in general, not just for the Falcon, but if you have you know, collection things that you want to display, that is a really good cabinet. It looks really nice. Before we move on to the other side, down here, it's just a bunch of cabinets where I keep comic books. Down here in these drawer units, again, this is all IKEA, some extra controllers. You'll see some 32X games. All my Sega Genesis games. Unfortunately, I did not keep the box. These are my original games, or at least the majority of them are. Sonic 1, 2, 3, 4, Sonic & Knuckles, Streets of Rage, at least all the hits for me. You have Castlevania Bloodlines, Contra Hardcore, the Ninja Turtles games that I played to death still to this day. It's awesome. Gunstar Heroes. So really awesome to be able to still play these on my Mega SG. Down here, the same thing, another drawer full of Super Nintendo games because, again, you got to have some Super Nintendo. And pretty much, the classic Super Ghosts and Ghosts, Turtles 4, Turtles in Time, Super Metroid, Mario All-Stars, Mario World 4, Contra 3, Castlevania. Just the hits. Don't want to meander too much. Down here, I have some NES games. These are my original NES games. I don't have many because, unfortunately, a long time ago, I sold a whole bunch. And I got rid of all my boxes. So this is all that's left of my collection. I'm hoping to be able to get something that I'll be able to play these original cartridges at some point, but we'll see. There's a Nintendo 64 controller. And then, as I mentioned, these white cubes here are all full of comic books, older comic books I've been collecting for a couple of years now. These are newer, Avengers, Spider-Man, see some Captain America. I have X-Men issues. I do have a couple of DC issues. These are newer as well. You'll see Spider-Man Blue. Here's a bit of the Hickman X-Men run. So yeah, a lot of I'm into a lot of things. Let's just say. So that's that. As we move on down here, you'll see some stuff that I still need to open that I have not opened yet. Before we do the table, we'll go here and another awesome statue from First Four Figures. This is the Mega Man, I believe it's based on Mega Man 9. Awesome light up. There you'll see the Mega Man Wily Wars from Limited Run Games. I just decided to have that for display. There is a Bandai Mega Man, but this thing, man, they knocked it out of the park. It's gonna suck when the LEDs break, but right now it's so enjoyable. It's so nice to have this Mega Man. If you're a fan, I don't know if this one's still on sale. I know I got this, I think last year or maybe the year before. but the light ups are like awesome. There's LEDs everywhere on this thing, and now they're off, and now they're on. Top notch. First for figures, like that statue is just awesome. Moving on down, gotta have some Metal Gear. Here's Solid Snake. He does have a light up. You'll see it's on right now, set on the green LEDs on his NVGs. This thing here does turn as well. There is a button back here. Recently, I've noticed it's gotten a bit noisy, but it spins sort of to emulate the way the ammo or the items in that game sort of look. But this is an awesome statue. I think even without the light ups or the spinning thing, that's an awesome Solid Snake. And he does have switch outs where you can display him without the night vision goggles and just his face. But it looks really, really cool. Down here, we have my boy, Terry Bogard from SNK. Again, I've never owned a Neo Geo. It was one of those things that eluded me when I was younger. But I was always a huge fan of Fatal Fury and SNK in general. So had to have a Terry Bogard. This is from Connecticut. I believe they state this is quarter scale. You start to get a little iffy when you get into these video game statues. But it's long. It's huge. It's got a hood, pretty big footprint. This is a Besta that it's on. The width is not so bad, but it's the length. It takes up a lot of room. And right now it has this nice light up for his power geyser. Right now it's off to give you a better look at the statue. I love this statue. It's awesome. For me to be able to have, again, Terry Bogard in this thing, it's just great. And again, you see that awesome light up there. Really cool. Awesome. That's again from Connecticut. Right here, Prime 1. This is my one and only Prime 1 statue that I own. This is the Ryu, however you pronounce it, from Street Fighter V specifically. And I love this statue. It is a little oversized. I know the proportions for the Street Fighter V artwork were very exaggerated, but this thing's got these humongous feet and hands. His hands are like bigger than his head. But I love it. I love that exaggerated style he's doing. His fireball there, he's got these effects here, to show you that he's powering up. My one complaint about this statue is the flimsy effects for the fireball. I mean, they stay in place, but are kind of just like sitting there. This does have a light up, but is battery powered. And don't let the camera fool you. It's very weak, especially in comparison to the other ones that are plugged in. It's not a bad statue by any means. It's really cool. I love this thing. I know they also released a Ken and a Kuma, but again, budget and space kind of prevented me from getting those as well. But yeah, I love this statue. And I kind of got this one with my thing in mind was, you know what, I need to have Capcom versus SNK. So that's why I have them sort of paired up there. Right here is an empty space, which again is a premium space because this is already reserved for another statue. And then right here in the back, more vinyls. Sonic CD, Sonic Mania, the soundtrack from Shinobi for the Sega Genesis, Shinobi 3, Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3, because you gotta have those soundtracks, all on vinyl. These are all mostly from data discs, but it looks really cool, just to give you an idea of what that shelf looks like. And then right here on the left is my Sonic 25th anniversary. I do have the 30th anniversary on order. Hopefully that should arrive sometime in the first quarter of this year. But again, being a huge Sonic and Sega fan in general, I had to get this. It's really awesome. The light up, again, is top notch. This is definitely Sonic. The light in the back has like a switch. You could switch the different modes. It has a static mode, so if you want it lit up all the time, it could do that. The only bad thing is that I noticed over time there is a button here because the sign does move. The sign's starting to make a noise. Not sure what that's about, but it can do that. But it looks really cool. There you go. Sonic 25th anniversary. This is also from First for Figures. Before we go down to the cases right here on the wall, we have this is a Lego Sonic set that was released in 2022. And I have that on a case from, I think it's a company called Wicked Bricks. But you guys could see it there. It's an awesome set to build, and then I got the case because I thought the background, and again, for space purposes, it was nice to be able to put this on the wall. Down here, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles poster that I forget right now where I got this, but it's almost like a Where's Waldo type thing. It's based on the artwork from the arcade game, and it's got a ton of different characters. Like, you know, you can look around and see different things, different scenes. I bought a frame for it from Amazon, and just had to have this on the wall. Again, being a huge Ninja Turtles fan. Up here, my amiibos. I had to have a way to display these, so I bought these. These are cases from Historical Michaels. You're supposed to be able to put baseball bats in these things, but I took those sections out for the baseball bats, and that's how I store my amiibo. And I have a whole bunch of different lines: Metroid, Legend of Zelda. We have the Smash Brothers amiibos up there behind, glass, and Fire Emblem. Mainly a lot of the guys with the swords. Again, some Zelda's, Cloud. But I like the way that looks. It's nice. I think I'm pretty much done with amiibos, though. Even though I've seen some new ones recently that look really nice. And then down here, before we go onto the table, more comic books. I think this might be some really kind of old stuff. Avengers, yeah, Avengers. I mean, from the 90s. There's some stuff here that's from like the 60s. Not the 60s, but maybe like late 70s. But it's a lot of stuff. I do come into this room, lay on the carpet. You guys can see there's these 6 units. That's all full of comic books. I have some Image books. I have Spawn. I do have some DC comic books as well. But this is pretty much where I come, pull out a comic book, and read. It's really cool. The back here, where the Sonic, so all these cases again are from Besta. They're Besta series from IKEA. So right here, I have my Storm collectibles, and again, it's nice to be able to have some extra room for to add more figures. There is a figure where it's Samus there, kind of running away. But you'll see my Storm collectibles so far. That's all the ones that I have. I believe I've done some kind of video on each and every one of these. Kung Lao, Haomaru, there's Reptile. King is awesome. I would highly recommend that figure. But I have him there with some lights. I definitely have more room to expand because I do have a couple of other Storm collectibles on order. Down here, more Lego. There's the Gargantos showdown. You see Doctor Strange, America Chavez, Wong fighting what to me is Shuma Gorath, but they just call him Gargantos. Here's the minifigs that came with the Guardians of the Galaxy Lego ship. A little mech set from Lego. This came out years ago. I really liked the way that looked, so I just had to get it. Down here we have the Ghostbuster Ecto 1. Smaller version, and then the collector's version there, the bigger one with the 4 Ghostbusters. I thought that looked really nice. I try to put the brighter or the white colored sets in the black cabinets because I feel like they pop out a little better that way. Right here on the right, I won't go through every game, but as I mentioned, I've been a gamer, I guess, for a gamer, if that's a term. But I like to play video games, for a long time. So you'll see PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, You'll see PlayStation 1, definitely. I was big into RPG, so you'll see Lunar 1 and 2. You'll see some PSP games and 2 Vita games. That was the extent of my collection on the Sony handhelds, but they were really good handhelds. You see a Vita there and a PSP. Last time I used them, they did work. So we'll see how they fare. There's some PlayStation 1 games. But again, that is, I guess, my Sony shelf. And then as we move on down to these two other shelves, you bear with me a second, we have more games. So down here, we have what is essentially my Xbox section there. You'll see different games. You can pause and see what I have in my collection. A lot of fighting games. My GameCube collection, it's missing Resident Evil 4 because I was just playing it. But I don't have a lot of games for GameCube. But the ones that I do have, I think are awesome. F-Zero GX. When are we going to see that on the Switch? I don't know. Def Jam Vendetta. Who knows when they'll make a sequel to it. There's some 3DS. Shin Megami Tensei 4. That's an awesome game. And some 3DS games. You'll see that in there. I also have some Game Boy Advance games. Some RPGs, some shooters, Golden Sun series, which I still haven't seen. Metroid Fusion and Metroid, the sequel. There's some DS games back there. There's my Fire Emblem Fates Special Edition that I decided to put on display. Here's my 3DS XL. This is from the Metroid remake. They released a collector's edition, so I had to get it, being a huge Metroid fan. And a little Mario from Mario Kart in his go-kart. We go on directly from here to here. Here is, I guess, older games. Sega Saturn in their original jewel cases there. You can see Daytona USA, Last Bronx, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, all the Street Fighters, Marvel, some Sega CD games. I do have Lunar 1 and 2 on Sega CD, Eternal Champions, and then some loose games that I unfortunately no longer have the cases for. Shining Force on Sega CD, Final Fight on Sega CD, a couple of things there. Metroid Dread. I got this when I bought the special edition of Metroid Dread for the Switch. Amazon Japan just sent me that. And the amiibos that go along with it looks really cool. There's the Emmy and Samus in her new suit. Down here as we go, Dreamcast, Black Label games, and Dreamcast, the white label games. You'll see the games with the orange labels. Those are imports. Because at one point I did import games to play on that, some Sega Saturn, and some overflow of 3DS games. Yoshi Amiibo. This is my wireless Saturn controller from Retrobit. Had to get that, and then some Saturn RAM cards that I just have that I'm keeping just for collector's sake. But that's pretty much my Saturn, Dreamcast, and Sega CD game shelf. And then there's 3 more to go. Down here we have again more games. What a surprise. So here, this whole cube here is all Xbox 360. You guys can see all my old Xbox 360 games. A lot of fighting, some first-person shooters. Down here, I'm not a huge fan of those, but obviously had to get some Halo, some the orange box. Forza Motorsport, I'm a huge car game fan. Gears of War, those Transformers games are awesome, guys. They need to release those. Guitar Hero, which I don't really play anymore. But yeah, that's my Xbox 360 collection. Some soundtracks from the King of Fighters game. Good Smile. This is from Fire Emblem. I believe she is called Tharja in the US or in Japan. I forget her name. Probably about the lewdness thing that I have in my collection. Yeah, you guys can see. There it is. Right here on the right is all my Wii and Wii U games. So yeah, I actually had a whole bunch of games for the Wii. I actually enjoy the system a lot. It's we had Mario Galaxy, we have the Metroid Prime Trilogy Collection, this awesome fighting game Tatsunoko versus Capcom, which who knows if we'll ever get a re-release of that. What else? It's my first exposure to Xenoblade Chronicles, which is now a huge franchise for Nintendo. Yeah, so I had fun with the Wii, guys. I thought it was great. It's the last story. You'll see there Link and this other character from Fire Emblem sort of blocking the way. I have them there for display. This is from First Four Figures. This is from Good Smile. But back there you'll see my Wii U games. And I know the Wii U again wasn't that much loved either, but I enjoyed my time with it. I thought there were some great games in here that have already been re-released on Switch. But Star Fox Zero still not out anywhere, just on Wii U. But that's my Wii U collection and my Wii collection. And then the last display case here is this one. This one's kind of miscellaneous. I have, again, another Good Smile character from Fire Emblem. There, looks really nice. Some Figmas, Marth, and I forget her name. She's from Fates. Really cool. And here's another Figma from Virtua Fighter 1. And this is my Virtua Fighter statue from First Four Figures. It's a smaller scale one, so I just have them placed there. But yeah, so that's it for this cabinet, and I think we're coming finally to the end of this room. And then what a good way to end then on the 1/10 scale Iron Studios display. This is on a 32 by 76 inch table. Initially, when Iron Studios announced this, they had this all laid out on one table, very similar to this. So when I saw that, I said, I gotta have that. Yeah, so this is right now, again, on the table. I can fully walk around it with plenty of room. You see all the different pieces, and I'll do another turn, so don't worry. I'm walking fully around the table, and here's the front. I have all the different Sentinels. I don't have all the proximity pieces. I just have the ones that I wanted. I do have a couple more on pre-order as well. And I noticed one last thing I didn't cover. This is a shoe rack where I keep all my controllers, light guns that I can't use because I don't have a CRT TV anymore. PlayStation 1, Xbox, Saturn controllers, Wii, GameCube, Super Nintendo, etc. So that's where I keep my controllers. But just to wrap it up, here's Sentinel number 1. And I've done, I think, plenty of videos on all three of these and all the proximity pieces. But these are really awesome. Again, this is a dream. I've never thought in my life I would be able to own anything like this. There's Sabretooth. Here's Sentinel number 2 with Magneto, Gambit, and the Juggernaut. We got other proximity pieces. We have got the Scarlet Witch there. We have Bishop here going up against Sabretooth. We've got Forge and Jean Grey sort of facing off against Sauron there, and a Pyro. I try to set them up like they're fighting. Back there, we'll go back there, you'll see Mojo. That's an awesome piece. Magneto here flying around. Down here, Sentinel number 3, you'll have Kitty Pryde. Archangel, you have Storm right here. Looks so cool. You've got Psylocke. You just cut like the Sentinel's arm as he's firing. This thing's unreal to me. It's, again, awesome. I'm very grateful to be able to have this. As you go back here, you'll see back there Bobby Drake, the Iceman, freezing the leg, and they've got this whole crazy like ice effect. It looks really cool. Back here, we've got the Blob, big chunky boy, huge unit going up against my man Pietro, right? There's Quicksilver. And we have here Colossus, just trying to nail that Sentinel with an extra piece. This is for me, again, the centerpiece of my collection. If you saw my video number one, my initial plan was to get a bunch of quarter scale X-Men pieces. But again, because of budget and room constraints, that couldn't be. So when I saw the 1/10 scale from Iron Studios, I was like, okay, this is the way that it's going to go. So I'm so happy, so glad to again be able to have this in the room as a display, as a collector. I know I'm very, very grateful, to have this, to be able to get things and add them, from my childhood. I think it's really great. Back here, I don't have much. I do have some space because, as I said, I have some one more 1/10 scale pieces. I think I have like about four more in order. Um, you'll see the back of the statues. I put Cyclops back here because he's part of Sentinel number one, but I put Havoc here next to his brother. They're fighting back to back, and Havoc here with his awesome effects is sort of facing off against Mojo back here. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I think we've come to an end. I'm running out of breath, but if you made it to the end, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for your time, your very valuable time. If you made it to the end, if you saw anything, you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Maybe watch one of my other videos. Maybe you saw something, you're like, hey, could you do a video on that? We'll definitely consider it. There's a lot to see. But thank you again so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Feel free to leave a comment and, take care of yourself. And I will see you next time.